So, hey friends, it's Chops, and welcome to a belated Chops vlog. It's been, I think, 5 weeks since I recorded one of these. I apologize for that. First, there was Thanksgiving. I had, 10 family members in the house for like a week and a half, a little overwhelmed. Then I got quite sick, and I figured you guys didn't want to listen to me like croak into a microphone. Being sick put me behind at work, so I had to spend some time getting caught up there. And then we had Christmas, which obviously I'm not gonna spend my Christmas playing video games. I'm gonna go see family. So that's kind of where I've been for the past 5 weeks. Apologies. A lot has happened in those 5 weeks since I've been out and dealing with real life. One of them I want to pause and say thank you for is that somewhere along the way we passed 425 subscribers, which is 424 people more than I thought would ever care about this YouTube channel. So thank you. That's huge. I'm very pleased with that. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you hanging out with me, listening to me ramble. Putting up with the fact that I used to make guides and kind of don't anymore. I'm getting on that, I promise. But anyways, thank you so much. You came here and you listened to me talk. I really like talking about World of Warcraft, and I'm glad that some of you find it amusing and or entertaining. The other things that happened were some big things in the twinking world, if you will, were the anniversary event for Corax, which I hope you guys took advantage of. It's a really good time to farm honor kills, farm honor, farm reputation with the AV rep. It's one of the only times that you can kind of consistently get that rep and really start working towards your Justicar title. Justicar, whatever. So yeah, you can do that. Also, one of the big things there is people discovered that you could summon twinks out of Corax at their at level 60. So if you were in an instance that required a character to be level 45 or something, you could use a warlock to summon your twink out of Corax. Now this glitch has been around for as long as Corax. It was figured out back in 2019 by some intrepid Euro twinks. We used it to get into Molten Core and AQ40 and AQ20 on our twinks. It's been around for a while, but it really came into vogue this year because people discovered that you could use that glitch to get into BFA Mythic Plus dungeons, and those Mythic Plus gear items at item level 85 didn't have a level requirement. Luckily, Blizzard put the kibosh on that pretty quick and nerfed those to the ground. Thank God. That was a travesty for the bracket for a while. That happened. Somewhere along the line, actually fairly recently, the big current glitch is that Blizzard went to nerf Crusader. Finally, as they should, because people were using it in Mage Tower, time walking. I don't know what that is. Some in-game thing from a couple years ago. I have no idea. Anyways, people were using it for that because it still gave 100 strength, which was absolutely ridiculous. So Blizzard rightly decided that they were going to scale it. In scaling it, they caused it to only provide 46 strength, which, good. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. 40 strength, 46 in Battlegrounds, which is good. That's might still be a little much, but hey, you know what? In a ranged meta, a melee tune getting a little extra strength doesn't make me cry. But now it heals for like 1,200 to 2,000, which is really, really broken at this level. Fury Warriors, pretty much unkillable. It's so good that like some survival hunters have started using it. I've seen some rogues with it. Hell, Enhancement Shaman could probably use it. whatever you want. If you're a melee toon and you want to use Crusader, I guess now's your time. Which is funny because you used to use Crusader on a rogue because strength gave attack power. Yeah, so we're just getting back to our roots. Another thing that happened while I was busy with real life stuff was that Blizzard announced that 9.2 would be the last patch of Shadowlands. And I remember reading somewhere, I don't remember where, they said that Shadowlands would be over sometime towards the end of 2022. Which means we are now officially halfway through Shadowlands. It came out around about a year ago. It'll be gone in around about a year. We're at 9.1.5. I assume 9.2 is the last content patch, but there might be like a 9.2.5. So there we are. We are halfway through the expansion. And what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about what that means. Well, not what that means, but talk about sort of the legacy of Shadowlands and what kind of patch it was and its place in sort of like what you could call the new age of twinking. What does it mean for this version of WoW and twinking and sort of its legacy, if you will. And I think ultimately, when you look at Shadowlands, you have to kind of look at it being the expansion that almost was. It was almost perfect, but the problems with it that kept it from being perfect were so glaringly bad that Shadowlands was an abysmal failure. And I think really what that boils down to is acknowledging that throughout Shadowlands, despite all the good stuff that Blizzard did with it and all the problems that they faced in getting it executed, there was never a moment that something wasn't not only broken, but catastrophically broken to the point that it really messed up the bracket. And it's the bracket in terms of being able to just queue random battlegrounds and queue random arena skirmishes has been more or less unplayable the entire expansion. And this is due in large part to one very large problem that has never been addressed, and then a series of much smaller problems. So the series of much smaller problems is that if you look back on the history and time we spent in the bracket, there was never a time that wasn't, like I said, there was never a time that there wasn't something that was catastrophically broken. Be it the I-level 49 weapons, the grandfathered I-level 56 gear that still hasn't been fixed, the I-level 85 weapons, the mastery glitch, the wrapping glitch, the mythic dungeons glitch, just thing after thing after thing after thing that really just made the bracket unplayable. Because it really felt like Shadowlands kind of devolved into this race to the bottom where everybody was just trying to find the latest glitch, the latest exploit that they could use, and kind of there was almost a gleefulness about how badly they could break the bracket. And I get that. I get the impulse. I really do. It's not that it doesn't make sense to me. I really do get it. But that doesn't make for a healthy bracket. It doesn't make for something that you can, you come home from work, you want to play some video games, so you queue into some random battlegrounds and go play. No, you can't do that. It's been more or less unplayable since the jump. And another reason for that, and the big elephant in the room that Blizzard never really addressed, is just how catastrophically broken hunters were at the start of the X-Pack, and how much they've really just only gotten worse. Because they don't have spell ranks for hunter spells, I guess, and so hunters are bad at end game, so they just kept getting buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed, and they were already broken at pre-patch, and with all the buffs they just continually got, it's been immeasurably bad. Which is all the complaining I really want to do about it. I hate to just complain and dog on it, but really that made Shadowlands unplayable. You queue into random BGs, and you're either faced with 3 Hunter, 2 Disc Priest pre-made, or you're faced with a bunch of people who are exploiting using glitches and glitched gear and stuff. Or worse, it's a 3 Hunter, 2 Disc Priest pre-made of people exploiting and using glitches. It was did not make for a fun time. That said, and I think one of the things we might look back on in the future and recognize as an overwhelming good is that in organized PvP, Shadowlands excels beyond any X-Pack in recent memory for me. If you controlled for the hunters, if you banned hunters in arenas and you limited a team to 1 hunter in Warsong Gulch War Games, you ended up with a really good bracket. Like, just flat out, I'll say it. People may want to argue with that, but it was a fantastic bracket. If it just didn't have hunters and banned glitched gear. We played an arena league with the boys that put together the 20s arena scene in North America. That's what is that? It's Bop and Old Spike and WizKid and Fail and Cygnus and Crew and all those guys. I missed somebody. I'm sorry. I apologize. But they put together an arena league and an arena scene that really it banned hunters, and it made like 1 or 2 rules about like very specific overpowered comps that you couldn't do. Like you couldn't put a Disc Priest and a Warrior together, that kind of thing. But outside of that, it made for some incredibly good games and fun comps, and you kind of found out that like everything really was kind of viable. There were classes that nobody really played. Like we didn't see any DKs, but Balanced Druids came out, Resto Druids came out, Demon Hunters came out and dominated. All these classes that people on like the forums and on Reddit and stuff like that will tell you, they're not any good, don't play them, or they're trash because you can't one-shot people with them, or whatever it is people's wild complaints are. Man, like in this arena league, in the hands of people who are really truly talented players, in an environment that controlled for the worst aspects of the bracket in terms of limiting hunters and banning glitched gear and stuff, everything really was viable. It really and truly was, which makes the shortcomings all that more frustrating. Really, was just how good the bracket was minus those. So I think that if we look at that, we take a step back. We put the whining behind us, and we look at sort of we look at the expansion from a twinking perspective. And let's be honest, being able to jump into random queues and just wail on levelers is a part of twinking, and it's an undeniable part of twinking's history. But something twinks forget is that also throughout twinks and twinking history, we've always made an effort to put together competitive games. Whether it's Guild v Guild Warsong Gulches, or it's arena war games, or it's just pick up 10v10 Warsong games, and we did all of that this expansion. And we took our industrious twinking nature, and we actually made a really good X-Pack out of Shadowlands, and I think we still can. Sorry, I'm super dehydrated. Lots of drinking. I think we still can continue to make an incredible X-Pack out of Shadowlands, and it, just like anything else, we can't expect Blizzard to hand us everything that makes it a perfect X-Pack. We have to take what we're given and modify it towards our specific genre of play, and then use that in order to make the expansion into something that we want it to be. And I don't think we can say that Shadowlands is unsalvageable, because we have had these organized war games and organized arenas that have been really and truly incredible. So I think that going forward, we need, if we want to, still enjoy ourselves in this expansion, we need to sort of bring that back. And I'm hoping that after the holidays, we can get a little bit more of that going again, because the holiday season didn't just disrupt ChopsVlogs; they disrupted competitive PvP as well. People have lives, people have families. They want to spend the holidays with them. Don't blame them at all. So I'm hoping that comes back, because the organized PvP in Shadowlands is probably the most fun I've had twinking since Wrath 39s. It actually feels a lot like Wrath 39s. And coincidentally, a lot of the old 39s are coming back. Very cool. But yeah, so I really think that we've got an opportunity to be our creative twinking selves and really make this the best twinking expansion that we've seen. It has the potential to be that, and it's unfortunate that Blizzard won't control their game to a point that would allow us to not have to put any effort into it. But again, it's really not Blizzard's job to balance low-level PvP around a bunch of weirdos who think low-level PvP is fun, because that's really what we are. We're a bunch of weirdos, and so it's on us. And the puzzle pieces are there, and the puzzle has been put together. Like I said, the guys who were running the arena server, the few guilds who put together some competitive PvP earlier in the X-Pack, the 10v10 Warsong Gulch scene that was there for a couple months. We know how to do it, and we really will end up with a really good twinking X-Pack. But I think ultimately we have to contend with the fact that the legacy of Shadowlands, in terms of the average twinks experience, is one of abject failure, because random queues are so bad. So I think that's kind of, like I said, it's the expansion that almost was. If we if we put the work into it, we can make it an absolutely spectacular twinking expansion. But if we don't put that work into it, it's one of the worst expansions in twinking history. So that's kind of my take. Halfway through Shadowlands, there's my take on sort of what Shadowlands looks like. Is it possible that in 9.2 Blizzard introduces spell ranks, nerfs hunters in 20s, and fixes Crusader? Yeah, man, yeah, that's possible. And if they were to do that, this is the best twinking expansion in WoW history. But as it stands, I don't expect them to do that. I expect us to have to put some work in to make it good. But I'm very excited to see what we can do when we put that work in. And so that's me done rambling for the night. I'm happy to be back. I'm glad you guys are still sticking with me. I'm glad we're pushing to 500 subs. That's cool. Maybe might do a celebratory 500 sub episode when that happens. But the holiday season's over. I'm still fairly busy with work, but I am back to where I think I can get one of these out a week. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm gonna keep questing and filming. I'll throw some chill hop on this, and you guys can watch some Twink PvE for a little bit, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to y'all next time.
understand me. I know you understand me.